Hello folks, in today's guide we are covering how to forge maximum stars for all 5 different twins within the Blades of Fire Hammer minigame. Now, a few side notes just before we get started would be, there are no variations to these minigames, and regardless of weapon size, shape, and ingots used, these minigames will all be the same, meaning just copy as I do, and you should be just fine. Additionally, there is such a thing as forged memory, so once completing the minigame with max stars, you can just skip it entirely when crafting that weapon again. The only drawback to this is, when unlocking a higher maximum star limit for that weapon, you will need to redo the minigame in order to unlock the new max limit. The minigame consists of 3 different mechanics, which are strength, width, and angle. You'll see me adjust the angle as we go, but strength and width may take some trial and error. I've added voice notes to try and help, but ultimately, matching your own screen to mine will likely yield the best results. But other than all of that, let's get started. First up, we have the twin axes. Begin by heading to the far right, then increase strength, width, and angle to their max. You want to flatten this part almost completely with your first 2 strikes, and then just simply move along the blade and make small adjustments to strength and possibly width until quite easily finishing the blade. Next up, we have the twin mallets. First, head left, adjust your angle and width to the max, and then adjust your strength accordingly. Then you can quite simply make your way down whilst making adjustments to the strength as you go, until eventually completing the blade. Up next, we have the twin picks. First, angle your hammer right and then adjust your width and strength accordingly until filling in this section here. Next, angle your hammer to the left instead and then adjust your width and strength accordingly once again. Once you reach the left section of the blade, you'll need to make bigger adjustments to width and strength, but it shouldn't be all that difficult to eventually complete the blade. Next, we have the twin war axes, which are quite similar to the twin picks. First, start by angling your hammer to the left and then adjusting your width and strength so as to fill in this small section right here. Once done, angle your hammer to the right instead and begin adjusting your strength and width accordingly. You'll want to make small adjustments at first so as to even out these columns. Then you can quite simply adjust your width and strength to a higher amount and then make your way down, maybe needing to make one or two slight adjustments along the way until eventually completing the blade. Finally, we do have the twin warhammers, quite similar to the twin picks and axes. First, angle your hammer to the left and adjust your strength and width so as to fill in this small section right here. Next, angle your hammer right and then begin adjusting your strength and width accordingly. You may need to make one or two slight adjustments, but for the most part, you can basically just keep making adjustments to strength and making your way down until finally completing the blade. That is it for this guide, folks. I do have a handful of Blades of Fire guides in the works, so do keep an eye out for those. But in any case, I have a range of guides on the channel too, so do feel free to stop on by and check things out. Otherwise, thanks for watching, folks, and until next time, peace.